Nama Om Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Shri Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra Ki Jai Shri Shri Nitai Gauranga Ki Jai Shri La Prabhupada Ki Jai Nitai Gaur Mandir. So welcome everyone for the Bhagavad Gita session, overview session. We're discussing from third chapter. The third chapter begins with a question to Lord Krishna by Arjuna to definitely tell what is the better process or what is the better way for Arjuna to move forward, whether he should practice Buddhi Yoga or he should engage in war. That was the question, because Arjuna seems to be confused with many topics which Krishna had mentioned to him, even though Krishna had mentioned to him in a wonderful way. But Arjuna was showing ignorance as though he couldn't follow things. This happens with the student. Teacher is explaining properly, but the student may not follow properly. So basically, Arjuna is taking the role of an ordinary person and trying to see that Krishna elaborates more on the topics what he has explained already in a brief way, so that all of us will understand the mystery of the Bhagavad Gita. That was the whole purpose. So Krishna started explaining that actually simply renouncing things in the name of spirituality is not good. In fact, as per the Vedic system, renunciation will come only at the last stage of one's life, when you have achieved a sense of maturity. So Krishna was trying to explain to Arjuna that all of us have to perform our duties, and those duties have to be prescribed as per the scriptures. So Krishna was specifically mentioning that the Vedic scriptures tell us that we have to do our prescribed duties in a detached manner. And how to do this in a detached manner? It is possible only when we do these activities for the satisfaction of Krishna. And this is known as yajna. The whole principle which Krishna explains throughout the Bhagavad Gita. Here Krishna begins that principle by explaining that yajna principle, which is actually going to liberate the living entity from this material world. The purpose of the living entity being in the material world is to somehow perform activities as given in the scriptures, as prescribed duties for the satisfaction of Krishna. In that way, to move forward in the path of liberation. So Krishna explained that in the Karma Kandiya process, wherein there are many rules, regulations, various rituals, performance of various pujas and other types of yajnas, there is a very elaborate process of offering sacrifices to devatas, recognizing the role of devatas in this whole cosmic manifestation, and how the living entities, devatas, and the arrangement which Krishna has made in this cosmic world, they're all interdependent. So we have to know that as a prescribed duty, we have to perform various recommendations given in the Vedic scriptures. This was explained in the next part of this third chapter, which we have discussed. Krishna again comes back to the important principle of bhakti, because the whole Bhagavad Gita is talking about the process of bhakti. So Vedic scriptures have different types of recommendations, broadly classified as karma kandiya, Jnana Kandya, and Upasana Kandya. What is Karma Kanda? Karma Kanda means basically various recommendations of different process of worship, different process of sacrifices, rituals, all these things. This is called Karma Kanda, wherein a person would like to, I am having this problem of health, or I'm having this particular problem of marriage, etc., etc., etc. So there are recommendations. You worship this devata, you perform this yajna, you perform this ritual, so you can get rid of this problem. And the purpose of Karma Kandya, Krishna explained in the previous chapter in verses 41, wherein Krishna was telling, 42 and 43. Ya imam pushpitam vacham pravadanti avipashita. Right? Vedas prescribe many such wonderful recommendations, like elevation to heavenly planets, very good birth, you get good power, nice, many things. If you do this, you'll get punya, you get this, you get that, like this. This is what generally people are attached to. They are mostly attached to sense gratification. So for them, such recommendations of Vedas are very attractive. But Vedas not simply prescribe these things, but Vedas has a very inherent message in all these things. For those who don't even want to follow nothing, at least follow this. That is the recommendation. Okay. Then, when people are fed up following that, following this, then they get some sense of knowledge. They get into what is known as Jnana Kanda. They're trying to understand what is the truth of life. So they're trying to, find out what is the actual purpose of life, what is the goal in life, right? So there are portions of Vedas called Upanishads, wherein the purpose of life is all explained, and finally you have to reach Brahman. You have to, all this Karma Kandya is all basically going to entangle you more and more, going to make you take birth again and again. So they come to this point of Jnana Kanda. Right? But even Jnana Kanda can maximum reach you to the point of, I am Brahman, I am spirit. But after that, what? Next aspect of what the spirit has to do is not explained. Rather, it is not clear for the Jnana Kandis. Then comes the Upasana Kanda, wherein the aspect of bhakti is very much explained. That's why Krishna again and again comes to the point of bhakti repeatedly in every chapter. Even though he explains here and there Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda. There's a nice statement made by one of our acharyas, Narottam Das Thakur. He says, Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, Kevela Vishera Bhanda. It's a Bengali statement, which means Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda means all these various recommendations given in Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda. They're all like Vishera Bhanda. They're like pots of poison. They look very nice, very good. But actually, if you drink them, you're going to die. Again, you will take birth. Right? This is very nicely explained by Shukadeva Goswami in the Bhagavatam, 6th canto, wherein Parikshit is asking question to Shukadeva Goswami. Shukadeva Goswami explains about various hellish planets in the 5th canto. How when human beings perform different types of sinful activities, they are pushed to various hells, Naraka. So Parikshit, being a devotee, naturally his heart is feeling for those entities who are suffering in hell. So he asks, what is the way out for these people who are suffering in hell? What they should do? So Shukadeva Goswami first recommends that, you have to perform this ritual, this activity, this yajna, this performance. He recommends all these things. Right? Like this, many recommendations he gives. And Parikshit, being very intelligent, he says, actually, even though these various rituals, activities are all recommended in the Vedas. But a person may go to a Tirtha Yatra, pilgrimage place. For that moment, he feels I am very purified. But he comes back and he continues with his same activities. Right? In South, we have a system wherein some followers wear a black dress during time of December, January. Ayyappa. You have seen? Right? They follow strict austerity, strictly for few months. So strict that early morning they take cold water bath, cold during winter time, and they walk barefoot and all these things. No shaving, nothing, and like this. Austerity in eating and so many things. That until they go to that temple in Ayyappa temple there, they follow all these things. After they have gone and coming back, on the way only they start all these sinful activities again. On the way, whatever they have not done, everything they start doing. Eating, drinking, smoking, etc., etc. So, example, Chandrodaya Goswami gives example. This is like Kunjara Shauchavat. Kunjara Shauchavat means elephant goes and takes nice bath in the pond. After that, it comes on the bank of that pond, again puts dust on its head, on its body. This is the elephant's nature. So what is the use? All your yajna, tapasya, tirthayatra, dana, dharma, nice, very nice. But again, you're continuing, your heart is not clean. Okay. Then Shukadeva Goswami appreciates Parikshit and he says, good, good. Now tell me further, Parikshit says, what is the best recommendation? Then Shukadeva Goswami says, Tapasa, Brahmacharyena, Damena, Yamena. He gives the recommendation for Jnana Kanda. This Jnana Kanda further Krishna explains in 12th chapter and all. Not easy. You have to practice strict tapasya, brahmacharya, etc., etc. So many things are there. Oh, very nice. Then become very purified and then everything. Tapasya, meditation. Right? But there is a warning here. It's like example of Vishwamitra Muni was doing strict tapasya, right? Following Jnana Kanda process. But he also fell victim to Menaka when Indra sent that Apsara to break his tapasya. So example is given just like during when there is a forest fire in a forest, everything, even bamboos, everything, all the vegetation is all burnt away. The forest fire, no? But when there is next rain after that forest fire, the roots of the bamboo, which are all there beneath the earth, they again start sprouting. Right? By your tapasya, brahmacharya, etc., etc. Oh, looks like you have already relieved from all the problems. You are almost free. Better than karma kanda. But next opportunity, there's a situation for sense gratification, you fall victim. The example is given by Shukadeva Goswami. This is all I'm describing from 6th canto, 1st chapter. Then Shukadeva Goswami appreciates Parikshit's further inquiries. He says, so nice, your understanding. This is not the actual highest process. Then Shukadeva Goswami gives the understanding of Bhakti Yoga, Upasana Kanda, wherein Bhakti is so powerful that it, from the root, all the desires are completely eradicated. So Shukadeva Goswami says, Kechit kevalaya bhaktya vasudeva parayana agam dunvante kasnena niharamya bhaskara. Very nice example, he says. So following of bhakti is not possible by everybody. Kechit kevalaya, very rarely people follow. Otherwise, mostly people are stuck, 98%, 99% people are stuck in karma kanda. that puja, this ritual, that, this, running around. Very religious. Very nice. All pujas are going on in the house nicely. But they have desires. Their family, everything should go on status quo. Side by side, pujas also have to go on. This is karma kanda. So 99% people are like this. Few people are interested in jnana. And out of them, very few people it's like you can hardly find anybody who's serious in Krishna consciousness or bhakti. Why? Because the very bhakti aspect is so wonderful. Karma kanda, jnana kanda is all not at all interesting for them. There's a little awakening of Krishna consciousness. It's like when the sun starts rising. Even the little sunrise, the very sun rays, not even sun is fully risen, but just it is about to begin. The very sunrise will dissipate all the darkness. Bhaskaraha, niharamiva bhaskara. It's like even during the fog, especially in North India, we see during foggy times, so much of dense fog. Little sunshine comes, the fog dissipates. Like that, the dense darkness in our heart, in the form of material desires, aspirations, all these things are thickly covering our consciousness. All that is dissipated with a little awakening of Krishna consciousness. That's the idea. So Krishna brings in this concept of bhakti again and again and again and again in Bhagavad. This we have to understand. Krishna explains the Yagna Chakra in the next portion of the Bhagavad Gita of this third chapter, wherein he says the food grains are produced by rains are produced by prescribed yagnas. Yagnas are born of specific duties, and these duties are all given in the Vedic scriptures, and these Vedas are nothing but Krishna's own emanation. So you have to follow this, otherwise you'll be entangled in this material world. Having said this much, Krishna says that there are pure devotees who are not bound by any of these obligations or duties. Atmarati, Atmatrupta, Atmasantushta. So the words Krishna uses. And for them, they don't need to perform any specific actions or duties to fulfill in the performance of prescribed duties. Even then, they perform prescribed duties. So basically, Krishna is recommending Arjuna that you perform duties, activities in this way, in a detached manner. Tasmad asakta satatam, without attachment. See, Krishna repeats this aspect of detached way of working. It's called Nishkama Karma. So, only if you are working in this way, only then you can achieve supreme perfection, Krishna says. Having said this much, Krishna gives the example of, he says, there are pure devotees, great devotees, Mahajanas, who, even though they did not perform any duties, but they perform duties just to set an example, just to show people how to live and how to act. Right? So, example of Janak Maharaj is given in verse number 20. Right? Astita Janakadayaha Loka Sangraham Evapi. And Prabhupada also gives the example of Arjuna and Krishna themselves. Right? Krishna, even though Supreme Lord, he tried his every effort to see that war is avoided. But Duryodhana and party were determined to fight. And Arjuna was also, inspired by Krishna to fight. So Prabhupada says, when there is necessity of war, wherein good arguments fail, so Krishna is showing by example that this is necessity, violence is necessary. So Bhagavad Gita is preaching violence, not non-violence. Means violence, where it is required, it is required. When you say violence is not required, then there is no police also required. Why there is police? There are elements in society wherein they are going to create violence. To maintain law and order, police is required. Just law is required. So Krishna is showing by example how Krishna, Arjuna are one more examples wherein they're telling that yes, you have to act. They're all exalted personalities, Janaka Maharaj. And now Krishna gives his own personal example in verse number 21 onwards. Before that, he states the principle. Very important verse. Verse number 21, I will read. Yad yad acharati shrestha tat tat evataro janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokastad anuvartate. So Krishna is telling that whatever action is performed by a great man, common men follow in his footsteps. And whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. The principle Krishna is stating, it's a very important principle. Whatever leaders do, common men follow. That's the point which Krishna is making here. So, the leaders have to be very responsible, basically. Prabhupada explains how leaders have to be so responsible by their practical behavior, because common men do not know what to do, what not to do. They take somebody as their ideal, just like in the modern day context. For people, some film star or some politician or something like somebody like that, some celebrity is a role model. Right? They'll be following. Nowadays with the social media, easy to follow. Whatever they do, they'll be following. They'll be commenting. So, for common man, for general people in general public, they require somebody to for them to lead. That's the point. So basically, Prabhupada is clarifying here in the purport very nicely. The leader should have certain qualification. Prabhupada says, if the leader himself is smoking, and if he tells the public, you don't smoke, then who will follow? Right? And this is a nice statement Chaitanya Mahaprabhu makes. Apani achari achara jivera sikhaya. Means, before you become a teacher, you behave yourself properly. Means, whatever you want to teach, you follow yourself first. That's the point. So this is called an acharya. Acharya means who shows by practical example. Prabhupada is that acharya who showed by practical example. Right? When he started the movement, he single-handedly did everything. He did kirtan, he gave Bhagavad Gita lectures, he was cooking, he was cleaning, everything he was doing. Right? So basically everything Prabhupada taught his disciples, how to move forward, how to do everything. So this is called Acharya. And teacher, an Acharya, is not that he will do anything whimsically or something just concocted. He has to be following the scriptures. That is the common guidelines. The Acharya should be well versed in scriptures. That is the main important point. Prabhupada says, the Acharya cannot manufacture, the teacher cannot manufacture, which is against the principle of scriptures. Very important. Because there is an example Prabhupada gives. We had a very important national leader who was having Bhagavad Gita as his an important guiding principle, but he was not following the parampara understanding. He was just giving his own understanding of Bhagavad Gita. Right? That was his mistake. He didn't follow any parampara. Nowadays we see many such leaders or so-called gurus in society. They have their own concocted way of understanding some knowledge they have, and they want to become gurus. That is not a proper way, Prabhupada says. Because there are revealed scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavata, Manu Samhita, etc., which has to be followed. Basically, Prabhupada is telling the Guru Sadhu Shastra. Guru Sadhu Shastra. They are all speaking same language. A sadhu will not speak which is contrary what Guru has said or what Shastras have said. Or Guru will not say what sadhus are telling, what Shastras are telling. They all speak the same language, same principles. Right? So the leader should be, the leader's teaching should be based on the principles of the standard understanding of the scriptures. This is what Mahabharata says, Bhagavata says. Mahajano yena gatassa pantha. It's a very important statement. In Mahabharata, it is mentioned that by your logic, you cannot ascertain what is truth. Right? There are so many logicians are there. People argue in so many ways. What is the conclusion? You will not come to any conclusion. You go on arguing, just like nowadays in television, there's so many debates going on different issues. The debate is very nice because everybody is shouting in high pitch. My point, yes, oh, ah. And for a public, it is like, very, very nice. Some rasa they're getting. All are shouting in their full voice. Somebody is shouting, continue, one more start shouting. What is going on? Nobody knows. So like this debating logic and all, end for this. Tarko pratishta shutayo vibhinna, Mahabharata says. And there are so many types of scriptures. One scripture says something, one Purana says something, some Upanishad says something. So like this, you go on analyzing scriptures. For one point you make, there's one more counterpoint somewhere. So what is the conclusion? Tarko pratishta shutayo vibhinna, naso rishir yasya matam na bhinnam. A rishi or muni means who has his own opinion. Right? Every rishi is unique. Why? Because he has his own logic. Just like it is said in India, Bharata, there are 6 types of philosophies. 6 philosophies. Shad Darshana they are called. The atomic theory by Kannada Rishi. Then Karma Mimamsa by Jaimini Rishi. Like this. Then the Sankhya philosophy by Kapila Muni. So there are 6 types of philosophies like this. Everybody has their own opinion. So, like this, every rishi, every muni has their own opinion. What to do, what to follow. Right? Lord Buddha came, he gave his own philosophy. Of course, Lord Buddha was Lord Krishna himself, but he came for a specific purpose. So, like this, logic, no conclusion. Then many scriptures, what to understand, what not to understand, confused. Rishis, what to do. All of them have different opinions, whom to follow. So Mahabharata says like this, if you go on with your logic, study of scriptures, or consulting different rishis, you are lost. The truth, dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhayam. The real truth of the dharmic principles, the religious principles, is hidden in the heart of pure devotees. Mahajano yena gatassa pantha. So Mahabharata says, the real truth is hidden in the heart of pure devotees. Follow them, then the truth is revealed. Just see, before we came in touch with Prabhupada's teachings. Where were we? For us, everything was looking the same. This is also good. This is also good. Oh, in TV, one Swamiji is talking. Some katha is happening. Somebody gave nice, talk. So nice it was. I was hearing this. I was hearing that. I was doing this. I was doing this. I read this book. I read that book. Oh, what all you're doing. But what is the final conclusion? I don't know. This is what is happening in our life. But when you came to Prabhupada's teachings, you are seeing the conclusive understanding of what is the actual truth. What is the real truth? After understanding the little bit about what Prabhupada is telling, everything else seems to be, this is nothing. This is all Prabhupada has taught. It's like, you come to the 100th step of a building. Every other step you have already climbed. That's the point. This is what Prabhupada is telling here. Bhagavatam is telling that you have to follow in the footsteps of pure devotees. That is the way of progress in the spiritual realization. So, the natural leaders in society, the king or the political leaders, executive heads, parents especially, or the teachers in the school, they're all supposed to know Bhagavad Gita. Very important. So all of us, why we have to read Bhagavad Gita? Because it is it's our responsibility. Because there are dependents on you who are naturally following you, your children, your dependents, are all looking forward for you for the guidance and direction. If you are not teaching them properly, the right truth, then you are not doing justification for your role as a teacher, as a father, as a head of the family. It's what Bhagavatam says. Don't become father, don't become mother, don't become teacher, don't become guardian. Pita nanasya, janani nanasyach, guru nanasyach. Bhagavatam says, don't become devata also. If you cannot guide your dependents, na mochaye samupetam mrityum, if you cannot guide your dependents from cycle of birth and death, it is an important point. So the leaders have a great responsibility. Naturally, Prabhupada uses the word natural leaders have a great sense of responsibility towards dependents. They must be conversant with Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavata. Otherwise, they are simply misleading their dependents. Because the principle in society or in the way of working is common men follow a leader. In a family, the family head is the leader. In the school teacher is the leader. In society, there are so many types of leaders: political leader, that leader, this leader. So if the leader is not well versed in scriptures, then he is not he is not doing his role properly or not executing his duty properly. That's the point. So Prabhupada always commented, today's present day situation of society is that nobody knows anything. Society is topsy-turvy. That's why Prabhupada started this ISKCON movement, Hare Krishna movement. At least at some point of time, people can be educated and they can be brought to the saner way of living and thinking and moving forward. Right? It is intervention in society. What is Prabhupada has started this movement. Right? It is lack of proper guidance in society. This is the first purpose Prabhupada mentioned when Prabhupada registered ISKCON Society in 1966, July, to systematically propagate the values of human understanding and human behavior as inculcated in the teachings of Gita and Bhagavatam to society through various books like Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. Prabhupada mentions first purpose of ISKCON. Systematically propagate, because Prabhupada wanted ISKCON to take that lead role. Nobody is teaching who are you. Everybody is teaching you are the body. Who are you actually? Your spirit soul. Nobody is teaching. That is the problem. That is the problem. So having said this principle, now Krishna gives his own personal example. He first gave example of Janaka. Now verses 22 to 24, you will see Krishna's personal example. Krishna says about himself in verse 22, Name parthasti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana nanavaptam avaptavyam varta evacha karmani. He says, Partha means son of Pritha. Arjuna is addressed as Partha, son of Pritha. Pritha basically means Kunti. Kunti's another name is Pritha. So, in a very nice, loving way, is addressed as Partha, son of Pritha. So, son of Partha, actually, for me, there is no specific duty that I am supposed to be doing within all the three worlds. Trishu Lokeshu Kinchana. This whole universe is divided into three parts: upper planetary system, middle planetary system, and lower planetary system. Right? There are 14 planetary systems in this whole universe. Few planetary systems are called upper planetary systems. We belong to middle planetary system. Earthly planet is Bhuloka, is part of middle planetary systems. And there are few more planetary systems that are known as lower planetary systems. Okay, this is how this whole universe is divided. So Krishna says, within these three planetary systems, within these three lokas, there's no work that I am supposed to be doing. Why? Because Krishna explains that I am actually full in everything. I am Atma Rama. I am self-sufficient. Because Krishna is not wanting anything. Just like we work, why? Because we want something. We are doing every activity because we lack something. Whereas with Krishna, it's not that he wants something, that's why he's doing something. He's doing that work. No. When we offer some food to Krishna, Krishna is not hungry that he is looking forward for your food. Rather, by offering food to Krishna, you are offering your bhakti to Krishna, which Krishna will accept it and bless you. That's the point. It's not. Yesterday we had Narasimha Jayanti. Prahlad Maharaj, in one of the prayers to Lord Narasimha, he offers prayers. Just like when you stand in front of a mirror and dress yourself, when you start dressing yourself, the reflection in the mirror of yourself also seems to be dressed up. Right? Similarly, we are actually a reflection of Krishna. So when you dress Krishna, then you will feel satisfied. When you feed Krishna, you will feel satisfied. Because the original personality is Krishna, we are all his parts. This example Prahlad Maharaj gives. So Krishna is already self-sufficient. He doesn't require anything. But our offering of service is for our benefit, for our purification. Right? So Krishna's status is that he doesn't need to do anything or doesn't have to obtain anything. Prabhupada very, very humorously says, Krishna did not take any contract from Arjuna that I will fight on the battlefield rather I will be on the battlefield as a driver for you, chariot driver. Just like we hire a driver, take a driver for employment. But Krishna did not take an employment from Arjuna. He didn't want any salary. Right? Prabhupada says this humorously. So it is out of love. We have seen in the first chapter, Krishna out of love, he became chariot driver for his dear friend Krishna, Arjuna. Sorry. So Prabhupada very nicely explains, Krishna is full in all opulences. Aishwaryasya samagrasya viryasya yashashriyah. Parashara Muni, who is the father of Veda Vyasa, he explains, Krishna has 6 opulences. He has complete wealth. He has complete strength. Aishwaryasya samagrasya viryasya yashasaha. Yashasa means he has complete fame. Right? Complete wealth. His opulence is described in Dwaraka. How opulent it was. 16,000 palaces, all made up of ivory furniture, very expensive marble on the floor. At that time, just with little candlelight, the marble was so wonderful that it used to brighten up like anything. That is the way. Whenever there's some expensive marbles are there, which little illumination, it will brighten up the whole place. That is the opulence Krishna had. The strength, we know how Krishna was so powerful. At the age of 7 years, he lifted Govardhana hill, killed so many asuras. And his fame, Krishna is famous all over the world since time immemorial. Right? It's always famous. Yashasa. Aishwarya samagrasya viryasya yashasya jnana vairagya. His knowledge, Bhagavad Gita knowledge, we have been reading, studying. Right? One chapter, we're taking 10 weeks, 12 weeks to understand. Right? So there is a depth of knowledge Krishna has given. And his beauty, right? So beautiful that the gopis are praying to Brahma, what type of fool you are, what type of eyes you have given us. It is blinking every now and then. We want to see Krishna continuously, uninterrupted. And you have made this eye like this. It's blinking, 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 interrupting our vision to you. That is the beauty Krishna has. Just see. So like this, Krishna's beauty and his renunciation. Just like you make a house. You're attached. Oh, my house. Everything should be nice, clean, neat. If I tell you, please give that house to me. No, my house, how can I give you? Right? Whereas Krishna has created this world. He's not there in the world only. He's sitting in Golok Vrindavan. Okay, you stay here. Right? This is Krishna's renunciation. Completely renounced. So like this, Krishna's opulences are unlimited. He's full in opulences. Right? He's Swayam, it's called Atma Rama. He's always satisfied in himself. He has nothing to do. Even then Krishna says, I do. Even then Krishna is engaged on the battlefield of Kurukshetra as a Kshatriya. See, Krishna, whatever role he plays when he comes down in different incarnations, especially as when he came down as himself as Krishna, he's playing the role of a Kshatriya. Right? As a Kshatriya, is duty bound, Prabhupada says, to give protection to the distressed. That is the Kshatriya's role, to give protection to the citizens. Right? So even though Krishna did not follow any rules, regulations, Krishna says in this verse, I also follow rules, regulations. Varta evacha karmani, yet I am also engaged in all the rules, regulations as given in the scriptures. For the next verse, Krishna explains in verse 23, Yadi aham na varteyam jatu karman yatandritaha mama vartmanu vartante manushya partha sarvashaha. Right? Krishna explains, if I did not work like this, what will happen? Then people will take a bad example about me. Krishna says, because he's supreme authority, actually. Right? He actually is coming down to establish dharma principles. Yada yada hi dharmasya glani bhavati bharata. Krishna is supposed to set up religious principles. He comes periodically. He himself is not following principles of dharma. Then everybody will say Krishna did not follow, so we also will not follow. So he wanted that everybody else follows scriptures properly. So he himself followed scriptures, set an example. This is what Prabhupada has been telling from verse 20 onwards. Great personalities still work to teach the public how to live and how to act. Right? This is the point. So, in order to teach everybody else, Manushya, Mama Vartmana Vartante, Manushya Partha Sarvashaha, Krishna is doing all activities, every aspect of civilized life. Prabhupada says, Lord Krishna was performing all the religious duties at home. If you read Krishna book, you will see there are many chapters, Krishna in Dwarka, how he was doing every duty, religious duty, like a householder. He was doing all the duties. It is required. Why? Because Prabhupada says, in order to keep the balance of social tranquility, Prabhupada used the word. Because it's like I told you about law and order situation. When there is too much of disturbance in society, law and order is disturbed, police is required. So likewise, Krishna also says that all the rules, regulations he is following and he wants everybody else to follow so that he maintains the balance of social tranquility in society. Right? If the people don't follow, then they'll be doing adharma. So having said this much, now Krishna comes to the point that if I completely stop performing the duties, then the world will go to ruins, he says in verse number 24. Utsideyur ime loka na kuryam karma chedaham sankarasya cha kartasyam upahanyam ima prajaha. Prabhupada explains very nicely in this verse, purport, a big purport. Many points Prabhupada explains. First thing Prabhupada explains is about how Krishna explains, or rather Krishna is answering one of the concerns Arjuna had in first chapter. If you remember, Arjuna was telling that if we fight Krishna, then the women in society will become, because all the men in the war will be killed and women in society will become polluted. And because women become polluted, they'll not follow any religious principles of marriage, etc. And there will be unwanted population. Arjuna used the word Varna Sankara. Unwanted population means the children begotten without any proper dharmic principles. Right? So, Krishna uses the very word Sankarasya cha kartasyam. If I did not perform duties properly, then people will not follow rules, regulations, Arjuna. So indirectly, Krishna is hinting out to Arjuna that not fighting, that was Arjuna's decision, no, not to fight. That is not proper. Rather, you have to perform your duty of fighting. Indirectly is pointing out to Arjuna. And he himself is telling, I also perform duties. So that people don't start following adharmic principles. Because adharmic principles mean society will be filled with unwanted population, Varna Sankara. In that way, Varna Sankara means what? Arjuna says, hellish life. There will be so much of disturbance, chaos in society. So Krishna also says this. There will be a lot of upahanyam, a lot of disturbance in society. Peace of society will be disturbed. So it is Krishna's responsibility and his devotees' responsibility to see that the peace and prosperity of society is always maintained and everybody is following the path of spirituality for the progress of their individual spiritual lives towards the path back to Godhead. That is one important point Prabhupada makes. Second point Prabhupada explains is about anusarana and anukarana. Two words are there. We heard, or rather we understood in verse number 21 about anusarana. Whatever great or leaders do, common men follow. Following is called anusarana. There is one more word in Sanskrit known as anukarana. Anukarana means imitation. Right? So people have this tendency of something which is very, which they like, or rather they want to, they like so much for sense gratification, they want to imitate. So Prabhupada says, we have to follow in the footsteps of Lord and his devotees. We should not imitate Krishna or great devotees. Because imitation and following are not on the same level. Anusarana, anukarana are not on the same level. Prabhupada gives example. If you want to imitate Krishna only by Rasa Leela, Rasa Leela is very nice. With all young girls, I want to dance always. Right? That is very good. But then imitate Krishna's Govardhana Leela also. Why don't you lift Govardhana? You can't even lift 10 kilo suitcase. Right? When you go to your, in the train or flight, you're having some trolley or somebody to lift your luggage. Why don't you lift from Govardhana Hill and imitate? Only Rasa Leela I want to imitate. Right? That is what Prabhupada says. That is wrong. Because it is the tendency of conditioned soul to imitate like this. So Prabhupada quotes from Bhagavatam. He says, we should simply follow the instructions of the Lord and his empowered servants. Why? Because the instructions are all good for us and any intelligent person will perform them as instructed. Because if you don't simply follow and start imitating anukarana, what happens? Then it is like drinking the ocean of poison like Lord Shiva did. This example is given. Yatha rudro advijam visham. Very nice example Prabhupada gives. He says, we should understand the position of Ishvaras or great empowered personalities like Lord Shiva, Brahma, or Krishna. All these are great personalities. They are controlling this whole cosmic situation in the whole world. So we should understand that we cannot imitate these Ishwaras. One more wonderful example which Prabhupada gives is that Teji Yasamna Doshaya, not here, but I want to quote here. The powerful personalities are so powerful, they are so powerful, that even from the most sinful place or sinful situation, they purify that situation. Example of sun is given. Sun, even there is a place where this so much filthy it is, so dirty, people have urinated. But once sunshine falls brightly, the place becomes fully sanitized, clean. Right? So likewise, Prabhupada gives the wonderful example here of Lord Shiva. Shiva was very powerful. That's why when Asura and Devatas were fighting with Mandir, with the churning of the ocean, when that poison came out, and they were all surprised. They were all shocked what to do, and they requested Shiva to help. Shiva, what did he do? He took that whole poison in his hand, and he just drank it. He drank and didn't take it inside his body. He kept it in his throat, and that portion of that throat, because he has kept that poison, it became blue. That's why it's called Neelakantha. Okay, Krishna, Shiva's one more name is Neelakantha. Why? Because he's kept the poison like that. So Prabhupada says there are many pseudo followers of Lord Shiva, which means false followers of Lord Shiva, who want to imitate Shiva. Like Shiva drank poison, we'll drink little poison. What poison they want? They want to smoke ganja and similar some drugs, right? They are trying to imitate Lord Shiva. Actually, they don't know actual poison they eat. When one small drop, they will die immediately. So like this, there are some pseudo devotees. Pseudo means false devotees. They're called Sahajiyas in Sanskrit, of Shiva, Krishna, who want to imitate. These Sahajiyas of devotees of Lord, these pseudo devotees of Lord Krishna, they want to imitate Rasa Leela and so many things like that, right? So they are not aware that imitating a powerful personality like this is not proper. They have to simply follow instructions. So in the modern day, there are so many so-called incarnations and so-called powerful gurus who are telling, I am God, worship me. Right? So people also are so foolish, they are simply following. Very nice example Prabhupada gives. If I say I am Modi, Prime Minister of India, will you accept? No. Yo, how you can become Modi, you'll ask me. No, I am Modi, if I tell. No, you are fool number one, you'll say. So, like this, somebody says, I am God. Oh, you're God. Oh, you're a big man. With regard to God, no thinking. Foolishly accepting anybody as God. Right? So Prabhupada gives example. When somebody says, I'm Prime Minister or President of a country, you will try to analyze and try to see who is he, how is he, what is he. When somebody says, I am God, no questions asked. This is what is going on in society right now. Okay, very unfortunate. So Krishna is warning against all such imitation and so-called incarnations and so-called gurus who want to imitate. Take Krishna's position. At least I have heard from many so-called big gurus who say, I am God, follow me. I am powerful than God. This also they make statements. Very foolish statements. God gives one kick, they are nowhere there. Right? Not even God did not give kick. God's agents also give kick, there will be no more there. Right? Like this. So this is the situation. So Krishna is giving a warning here. So in these verses, what we read today, Krishna is giving his own personal example. How even though he is all powerful, self-sufficient, he himself is following. Why? He is seeing that society will otherwise be misguided. and there will be a lot of disturbance in society's peace and prosperity. Okay, so we'll close here. We'll conclude here. We'll take up the discussion, continue discussion in the next session. Okay, anybody has anything to discuss, ask, and comment?
We are waiting for your announcement, Prabhuji.
And the announcement is after questions. Okay.
Prabhuji, I have one question, please. Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Yeah. We understand that when the Lord at the beginning of creation sent living entities into this material world for material enjoyment, he also sent his instructions in verse 10 that is given, that the Lord sent his instructions in the form of Vedas, how to come out of this material entanglement. But is it correct understanding that once we have fallen into this material entanglement, it takes a very, very, very long time to get out of it, because we take so many different bodies, and only when we reach the human birth, we are able to even understand what are the Vedas. So is it correct understanding that the human form is the only form when we can understand that we have been loitering in the wrong place and we have to go back?
Yes, your point is correct. Human form is the only form, but Krishna consciousness is so powerful that there are many examples in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela that even entities other than humans, they also got liberation by his mercy. And Prabhupada says Krishna consciousness is very powerful. It's like when you offer a flower to Krishna, you are definitely getting benefited. Even that flower, from which plant that flower is taken, that plant also will get benefited. So whatever you offer to Krishna in the form of food, flower, or whatever it is, all the connected aspects, connected entities from where the source has come, just like you offer honey to Krishna, whatever is eatable. All those honeybees have collected that honey from different flowers, and the flowers from which that honey is collected, all those entities also in different forms, they get elevated. Right? So Krishna consciousness, the process of Krishna consciousness is so powerful that your performance of bhakti is doing welfare to everybody. That's why Prabhupada says Krishna consciousness is the highest welfare activity. When you chant Hare Krishna loudly, you yourself anyway are hearing, but there are so many entities which you can see, which you cannot see, also they are hearing. Their vibration touches them. Right? They will get elevated. What level they get elevated, you and I may not be able to comprehend in our limited understanding. There is a statement in Bhagavatam, first canto. Prabhupada says that Krishna also incarnates in various other species of life in their own way to start to elevate them. See, Krishna's way of working to elevate, to make the living entities move forward in the journey of spiritual life is all inconceivable. Right? At least in the human form of life, we should understand opportunity is best. Best opportunity is there. Right? In human form of life, if we behave like animals and degrade ourselves again, there is no, then it is very unfortunate. That's the point. Right? Definitely, human form of life is the best opportunity, very easy opportunity to move forward. It is like almost you're reached almost to the top level. Just your endeavor with regard to following the principles as given in Bhagavad Gita will take you back, will make you eligible to go back to spiritual life. But if you misuse it, then it is unfortunate. That's the point. But definitely there are different ways and means. Lord and his pure devotees are all having different ways to liberate all the entities. In fact, there's a nice small pastime, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Leela, wherein one great devotee by name Vasudeva Datta, he is praying to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, please liberate all entities from this universe. and all their sins, please let me suffer. This is the type of compassion a pure devotee has. One pure devotee can liberate the whole universe. Universe means not only humans, every entity. Because, of course, every living entity is a spirit soul having entangled or rather embodied in different bodies because of their own terms of imprisonment. Right? So when this statement was made by Vasudeva Datta, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, what are you talking, one universe? This one universe is a small mustard seed in a bag of mustard seeds. When one universe is liberated, what about the whole bag of mustard seeds? Basically, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to say, the whole creation is unlimited. Right? But devotees' compassion is so much that they want to liberate the entire universe. That is the power they have. Yeah, good question. Yes, human form has definitely the opportunity, but if you misuse it, then we'll degrade to other lower life forms. But what is the hope? There is a hope. Bhagavatam says, different ways, Lord is all working. How things are moving forward, how things are going on, is all inconceivable. Right? But definitely, human form of life, we have sense. At least speaking from a comparative study. Comparative study. I hope I've answered your question.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
Any other question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhuji, in Bhagavad, I'm asking for Bhagavatam, Canto 2, the incarnation. It is written in this purport that Srila Jiva Goswami, the Buddha incarnation mentioned in this verse, appeared in different Kali age.
Kali Yuga. Yes, correct.
So, the Buddha, which people are worshipping as following the Buddhism, he is not the same Buddha.
No. See, Bhagavatam, first of all, has many descriptions from different time scales. Some incarnation of Krishna happened in some millennium. See, first of all, you have to understand what is the time scale. Then you appreciate this point of what I'm telling. Brahma's one day is having 1,000 cycles of 4 yugas. Krishna explains this in 8th chapter. 1,000 cycles of 4 yugas, just like we are in Satya Yuga now. Sorry, Kali Yuga. Right? So this Kali Yuga is the last of the 4 yugas cycle, one cycle. So like this, in a day of Brahma, there are 1,000 cycles of Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga. We are in which Kali Yuga? That is again a very interesting question. This Prabhupada explains in the next chapter. We are in actually a 7th Manvantara's 28th cycle Kali Yuga. What is it? 7th Manvantara. So in a day of Brahma, there are 1,000 cycles I told you. Like that, the whole day of Brahma has 14 Manvantaras, sorry, 14 Manus coming. Okay. So 14 Manus, if you divide this 1,000 divided by 14, this comes to around 72 cycles of 4 yugas. Okay. So in specific today, this day of Brahma, in this day of Brahma, already 6 Manus have gone. Time has gone. 7th Manu's 28th cycle is going on. That is where we are in. And Krishna appears specifically in his original form as Govinda, Gopala in Vrindavana in this specific cycle. Very special it is. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also comes only which means only once in a day of Brahma Krishna appears. And that Dwapara Yuga just passed few years back, 5,000 years back. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared just 500 years back. In the cosmic time scale, it is just recently. Okay. So we are very fortunate that way that period that Kali Yuga is going on now. So the present the Manu is called Vaivasvata Manu because he is son of Vivaswan, sun god. That is what Krishna begins 4th chapter with. I spoke the signs of Bhagavad Gita to sun god. Sun god spoke to his son Manu. It is Vaivasvata Manu. 7th Manu is called Vaivasvata Manu. Okay. So like this, the 7th Manu, Vaivasvata Manu, his 28th cycle is going on, which means every Manu has 72 cycles. His 28th cycle is going on. So this particular description of Buddha, wherein a different Kali Yuga means it may be some other previous Manus, some other Kali Yuga. That's what it means. So like this, it's like, in a day, sun rises, sun sets. The cycle is going on. Sunrise, sunset is going on. So when you refer, on 20th January 2018, I had, this particular incident happening in my life. Likewise, Bhagavatam is referring to, doesn't specify the time, specific, the specific which cycle. It just says one of the Kali Yugas. Right now, we are very much boasting ourselves that this Kali Yuga is very advanced. But there were Kali Yugas which are much advanced than this. During, that Kali Yuga which you have just now referred from Bhagavatam 2nd canto, during Buddha's time only already missiles were there. Advanced machinery was there, which we are seeing now. Just see. Which means we have to understand we are simply ignorant about what is this whole universe, how things are going on, what is this time scale. So Bhagavatam is trying to give us a hint. Your knowledge is very limited. Our knowledge is very, very limited. We have to understand our understanding is limited. We are like Kupa Manduka. We are like frog in the well. We ourselves boast, I know this, I know that, I know everything. What do you know? You know nothing. You don't even know about what is this world around you. That is the basically this description is to make us understand and put us in our proper frame of mind who we are. So Bhagavatam is telling, be humble. Don't become proud, arrogant. Okay, Lord's incarnations are so unlimited. Lord keeps coming in so many incarnations again and again to teach us that you are spirit, soul, you are part and parcel of Krishna. Come back to him. That's what Krishna wants to teach us. So, first of all, Krishna is giving this Bhagavatam, this verse is teaching us what is cosmic time scale. Secondly, this verse is teaching us, please learn that you are insignificant. Your knowledge is limited. Don't become proud about your knowledge. Advancement. You're all very proud now, scientific advancement. We're inventing new technologies, artificial intelligence, you're all very, see Bhagavad Gita intelligence, so high level, which we cannot even reach there. Sanjay is sitting in Dhritarashtra's place and he is having live telecast of Kurukshetra war going on in his heart. Where is technology? We have not even discovered this technology until now. So the technology was very much advanced in the Vedic times. Right now, we only have gross technology. Right? There are many, many descriptions in Bhagavatam which gives you understanding of how advanced science was. Right now, it has become very gross. That's the understanding. Okay. This is the, I hope I have answered your question. Whatever.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Fine then. So let's close now. So before I close, I'd like to make an announcement. So we have Jagannath Rath Yatra, Jagannath Puri Rath Yatra on June 20th this year. So there were few of our devotees and donor families who are planning to visit Jagannath Puri. So if any of you would like to join for this Rath Yatra, 2 or 3 days maximum, it will be on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So if possible, we'll visit Mayapur also for a day or two and then come back. That is the plan. So more details and more things. One of our devotees is there. He will give you his name is Gaur Prem Das. If any of you would, right, you don't want to go in big numbers, you just want to go as devotees and want to understand Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Leela, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed for 18 years in Jagannath Puri. And Rath Yatra is a very wonderful event. It happens every year. And along with that, also visit Mayapur, some important pastime places of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Just spend 4 or maximum 5 days with devotees and come back. That is the plan. If any of you would be interested to join this yatra, you don't want to go in big numbers, just maximum around 10, 12 or maximum 15 people, that's all, 15 devotees, and come back. That's the idea. If any of you would be interested, please, you can contact our Rahul, and Rahul will connect you to Gaur Prem Das, and then we'll move forward. Details, he can give you more details. Okay, is what I want to make announcement, because basically, because as we are moving forward, we also have to see, it is important that we also, as part of devotional service, we have to visit places of pastime, places of Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One recommendation which Acharya has given, right? So it is important to visit those places, and also and on the occasion of Rath Yatra is even more, very, very wonderful. That is the recommendation. If anybody would be interested, then please let us know. We can further take it forward. Okay. Anything to ask on this, or we'll close now?
Prabhuji, if anyone would be interested from Punjab, we should speak to Privrata Das Prabhu or Rahul Prabhu.
You can just speak to Rahul. That's all. Because it's something which we are just going with very few number of devotees. Privrata maybe is also organizing, but it's something which we are going in a different way.
Because he is always like, you speak to me, you don't speak to Rahul or any other person. So that's why I was asking.
You can speak to Privrata, but other devotees don't know. No?
I'm inquiring from my side. Na? The people I know, they are interested in going.
You can speak to Privrata only. Others, I'm telling you, you can speak to our devotees here. Okay. Yes.
Thank you.
Very nice. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Anyalji will be interested mostly.
Danyalji is taking lead in this.
No, we have a plan, already booked ticket for Vrindavan that time.
Acha.
June 27th.
No, June 27th is much later. June 20th I'm talking about. Anyway, see, whomever, any other devotee you're in touch with, I don't want to divert you or distract you. Because for other devotees who would like to go, want to go, just wanted to make a simple announcement. I don't want to go in big numbers, just a small numbers to take it forward. That's the idea. Okay, fine. So I'll close now. Thank you, everybody. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.